All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live stream. We've got a great bunch of guys tonight. We've got the idea behind this live stream tonight was going to be for trying to introduce a lot of other people to some different whiskey review channels, things along those lines. And then I thought we could also talk a little bit about some different entry-level bourbons, maybe what everybody else suggests or tries to maybe introduce others to when they're kind of asked things. So I'll just go left to right in the order that I see. So first, the first channel up are going to be the guys over at Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews. So guys, go ahead and why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about your channel.
Hey everybody, my name is Grant. I'm Jake, and I'm Ron. We're a whiskey review channel. We review whiskey. Our channel's pretty laid back. We want to give our viewers the feeling of just kind of hanging out with the guys, talking about whiskey. We review Scotch, American whiskey, bourbon, whiskey, Irish whiskey, pretty much all types of whiskey.
We'd like to give some information about the distilleries and some history about, you know, what you're drinking or thinking about drinking. Right?
Yeah, sure. We do like to give history of the whiskey we are reviewing, price points, and just your general information about whiskey.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, and I came across you guys. I know I saw a few videos early on, and you guys were doing some really good things, some really fantastic stuff. So I was glad to kind of see what you were doing, follow along, and really kind of get into that. So, all right, Jason, you're up, buddy.
I'm up?
Yeah, you're up.
Oh, hi guys. I'm Jason from the Mash Syndrome. Thanks for having me on, Scotty, and welcoming in all these great new channels. I just want to say one of you guys has the live stream on, and we're getting echo. So check your windows, make sure nobody has a live stream playing on in the background.
Yep, I was just kind of noticing that too. So
You're not me.
Yeah, does somebody have the audio for the live stream like on like in their phone somewhere or whatever camera they're using?
No. I think so. Hold on one second.
No, nothing on my end.
Yeah, nothing on our end either.
That's weird. Yeah, getting a weird echo somewhere.
Yeah, I hear that. The echo city.
Yeah. Well, Dan, I guess while you're up, why don't you go ahead and kind of let everybody know a little bit about your channel and kind of what your plans are with it and all of that.
Yeah, so I'm Dan from Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. Just put out my second review today. It was the Barrel Dovetail. Really, the overall goal of my channel is to really try to bring you guys the best possible reviews and tasting notes that I can. I'm really looking to do 3 to 4 reviews a month, one of them being a Dusty bottle. Now, definition of Dusty to me is anything from the 80s back. So, you know, I do have some from the pre-Prohibition period. I have some from the 30s, 40s, 50s. So I'll be looking to review some of those probably once a month.
Yeah, and I knew when we all got together in when we were down in Louisville this year, you had some really nice ones, and I kind of look forward to I think everybody eventually at some point being able to you know, get an opportunity to listen to some of that and kind of learn a little bit about those, because you know it's not always something that's readily available, and for people who really enjoy whiskey, I think that will be a really, really fun thing for people to be able to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, I really just wanted to do it just because you don't really see it out there, and it's not to rub it in people's faces. It's just maybe tell them how different whiskey was then as opposed to now. So.
Yep. Neil, do you guys want to go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourselves and your what your channel is?
Absolutely. So we're the Bourbon Buddies, and I'm and yeah, we just started up not that long ago. Videos we have like 8 videos, kind of getting going, and we kind of started by just drinking bourbon for years. We're both like the wine, and then Jeff kind of just feeding me bourbon all the time at night, you know, just like, hey, try this, buddy, try this, and I just kind of got the bourbon bug. Just kind of ever since we just like started channel up, and yep, here we are.
This is literally Neil just sent me a message one day and was like, hey man, we should do a bourbon channel. I was like, I'm good with that. Let's do it. Do it.
You know, and that's fun. I mean, that's fun, and I always thought it was kind of a neat where everybody can, you know, kind of have like somebody to work off of. You know, like when like Jason and I, you know, and you know, you're trying to carry everything all the time, and that part of it needs to be, you know, a little bit difficult and kind of monotonous a little bit at times. But you know, when you guys can kind of play off each other or anybody with a dual, you know, kind of like a dual channel, it's kind of fun from that standpoint, because it really lets you guys kind of interact and you know, shift gears a little bit. So.
Absolutely. It's like when I don't know what to say, I mean, he just fills in, you know what I mean? So a lot of times I don't know what the hell I'm saying. So.
But a lot of the banter is actually trying to get more like us all the time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
First couple of videos we really we were in front of the camera, and it's just, to see a video of us clowning around is pretty much how it goes, no matter what we're doing. You know,
Pretty much us.
the banter and the monkeying around. We're trying to keep it as authentic.
Well, and that's probably the best way to do it. I mean, I think when you guys are like you are, you know, you're not trying to be pretentious or anything along those lines, and none of us are. You know, we all do this because, I mean, we enjoy whiskey, we enjoy you know, the camaraderie like we've got here, and that's really the fun part of all of this stuff. So, you know, that was kind of the idea behind you know, this live stream, was to, you know, not only kind of all of us have good interaction, but, you know, to get you guys out there a little bit more, you know, into the community, let everybody understand, you know, who you are, what you're about, you know, really all of that. So I'm happy to kind of facilitate, as little as this may be, you know, get you guys out there and just kind of have fun. I mean, it's just kind of drink whiskey and you know, have fun doing it. So
What it's all about.
That's
We
what
really
it's all
appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We have a good time doing it. So
good. So let me ask you guys. So when you first started your channel, I mean, outside of being, you know, kind of more wine related,
Mm-hmm.
what was it that made you say, well, let's start a whiskey review channel?
well, I mean, I would say we've done a lot of tastings through wine, and we would get together and do tastings, just a whiskey. Hey, what do you think of this? And let's talk about it. And, you know, it kind of just spun off from that, almost just kind of a natural progression. Being that we were both, and when I say we were into wine, I mean, we were pretty into wine. I mean, Neil got deeper into it than I did.
Oh, yeah. Deep dive.
But it just sort of like spun out because you're used to tasting wine in that way and really dissecting it and kind of pairing it. And we've done, with our wives, we've done wine dinners where they do all these pairings and everything. And we really got into just kind of like experimenting and discovering different flavors.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it kind of just got in, and we got into whiskey, and it just be kind of like, it was what we were used to doing, you know?
Yeah.
So
Well, and that probably gives you guys, you know, me coming from a background already of wine, and the tasting process, the nosing and tasting process being very similar, you know, you guys already kind of have a palate that's prepared and ready to kind of be introduced to something that's different and handle things. I guess the only difference would probably be the proof part of things, just because wine is, you know, is much less in proof than bourbon or whiskey. You know, but you're already kind of prepared for that. So which is nice, a nice introduction, you know, so.
that's probably why I pour a little heavy too from time to time.
Yeah.
Sorry about
You guys
about it.
You guys are used to looking at you guys are used to looking at big old pours and stuff, and then you go to whiskey, like that's just a little chump pour. So who wants that? So Brent, so you guys I think between you guys and the Bourbon Buddies, I think you guys may have started very close to each other in terms of when everything was launched. So now the three of you guys, have you been friends for a long time, and that's why you decided to kind of get things together, or what?
Yeah, we've been friends for a while. These two have known each other for a long time, 10 years. I met Jake through work. We kind of split. He went to different things in the work profession or whatever, but we kind of met through music and whiskey. He plays guitar, excellent guitar player, and I was into whiskey. He was into whiskey, and that's how I met Ryan. And we would start sharing these bottles we were collecting and stuff, and we would actually get together, play music and stuff, and share these whiskeys together. And our collection just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we started to experience more things with the spirit, and we were starting to be able to set different whiskeys down. And we knew the whiskey. We were getting to know and understand the whiskey so much better. And I'd actually hashed out this YouTube thing for a little bit. And one day I called Jake and I was like, "Hey man, let's start a YouTube channel." And he said, "Okay." And that was about it. And we knew whiskey, but we didn't really we still have got a lot to learn on the YouTube thing. I mean, so much. There is so much going on there in the whole YouTube world. But, I mean, we know and understand whiskey. Now it's getting to know and understand the process of actually the production part of actually the editing.
That's. I mean, I get all that, and I think that's kind of like the fun part about it. And I think nowadays with a lot of the channels out there that have, like, including Jason, there's a pretty good like production value, and Dan now too with the editing and all that. But you know, I think beyond that, the best part is, like, I was kind of thinking about this the other day, was just not like losing the focus of, like, this is just a lot of fun stuff for all of us, you know, and not to want to make it feel like another job, even though at times it kind of can. You feel the pressure to want to get more videos out and all of that, but you know, you can't lose the fact that it's still just fun, and we all enjoy whiskey, and we're just talking to a phone or a camera or whatever it may be, and putting our thoughts out there. So, you know, anybody who's starting a channel nowadays, you know, I give a lot of credit to you guys.
Well, thank you so much. And one of the best parts about all of this is being able to share the whiskey with everybody, and the people we have met doing this. It's been amazing. It's really been cool. Met some really great people. Have met some really great people who have subbed to us. Made some amazing people. It's been really cool. It's cool to share this spirit with people who love it just as much as we do. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, that is the best part. You know, a lot of us have developed some pretty good, you know, friendships and all of that, you know, along the way. And that really is. I mean, without the whiskey part of it, you know, a lot of this stuff would never happen. I mean, we're all over the United States and in different parts. And fortunately, these types of things, you know, allow us to do all this kind of fun stuff and talk whiskey and, you know, learn a little bit more about each other. So that's the fun part about it for me. So
yes, it's great, and everyone has really been just open-armed, willing to help. Really, I mean, there's a matter of fact, I can't think of one person now in the whiskey community that we talk to that is just something like that. Everyone's really been open-armed, willing to help. It's been amazing. Some amazing people, really, man. Everyone has. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, and that's really the way it's been for, I think, all of us. We've all kind of gone through, like, our little, when we started and who we all kind of contacted, who we reached out to, you know, all of that stuff to really see, you know, like, you know, can we get some help, or what do I do with this, or whatever it be. And that's the one thing I've really learned, is that there aren't many people within this WhiskeyTube community who really isn't willing to really help out with things. So that's been really, really cool. So
That is true. Yeah, that's very true.
all right, so let's see. Let's take a look in the chat here. We'll see who we've got in here right now. So all right, we got Robot Scott, Bert Professor, the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast. All right, I've seen you before. Christopher David, how's it going? Mike Snook, how's it going, buddy? Let's see who else. Dustin's in here. Guy Davis, Loch Ness. Corey Martin, or Corey Martin / Big Papa. It's kind of cool.
/ Big Papa.
/ Big Papa. So Dan, we were no, that's his name. I'm not even making this up. It's Corey Martin / Big Papa.
I love it.
That's awesome.
That is good. So Dan, so I know Jason and I have a little more idea kind of why you wanted to start a channel. So what was it that made you? I guess you can let everybody else know a little bit more about kind of why you wanted to start the channel and what you want to do with it.
I mean, really, I blame it on you guys. And I got a lot of peer pressure from you and Jason to start the channel. But no, really just I don't know, just to try to get the information out there to people. Really for the reviews, the palate and the nose and all that good stuff. I mean, I just thought it was a good idea. I was very hesitant at first to do it, but now I'm glad that I've stepped into the light a little bit now. So it's gonna be fun.
So let's ask the old pro with his backwards Columbus hat on there. What was it for you when you go back a year and a half or 2 years ago now? What made you decide to start a whiskey review channel?
2 years. It hasn't even been a year yet, Scott. You believe that?
It isn't? Oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
It'll be a year. It'll be a year next month.
Jeez, 1 year already.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
So what was it that got you kind of not only into whiskey, but what allowed you to kind of catch the bug, so to speak?
Well, I started when I had my first bottle of Booker's, and some of you out there might know this story. It kind of blew my mind on what a bourbon could taste like, because I was drinking, not the greatest stuff, I guess, in college. So then once I had Booker's, I was like, what the hell is that? And I started trying everything, and I've always had kind of a sensitive palate. So with my marketing and kind of production background, I'm like, you know what? I think I could do a really good channel, especially when I was looking at some of the other channels out there and what they were putting out. I'm like, I think I'd be able to do something kind of cool. So I went for it, and after about 3 or 4 videos, I was hooked. I couldn't wait to do more and more.
Yeah, and that's the fun part.
And plus, as the guys have mentioned, really the whiskey community has been open arms, embracing. So it's really nice.
Yeah, that's the main thing, and a lot of us, we have all kind of, really developed pretty good like friendships through all these things, fun stuff and all that, which is really cool. And like I said before, without that and people in the chat, without all of that, you would never have that experience otherwise. I mean, we're spread all over the United States, and you'd never have that opportunity,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with all the channels now coming forward, it's still amazing how, to me, that not only are they putting out quality content, but they're all doing something a little different. So I think that's really a testament to people thinking about their content.
Well, and like with the other guys where they have, 1 or 2 other people to kind of lean on, I think that makes things much more interactive and fun, and you get a couple of different perspectives, versus just, the 3 of us who give our own opinion, but you've got somebody else to bounce something off of or kind of play off of, which I think is fun too. So.
Yeah, honestly, just watching all you guys, I like kind of both. I like to have, just that single person kind of going through it and going in depth. And then I also like, 3 people, 2 people, whatever it is. I kind of like it all. I like that it's all different and that everything is just kind of, wide open. It's just so much fun. And just like you guys have been saying, the bourbon community, whiskey community, everyone's just so friendly and just inviting and allowing everybody to come in. I just think it's awesome that, this exists. And I think that's really kind of what, drove us to kind of, be part of all this, be part of this community and everything. So I think it's great. Awesome.
So here's a question for all of you guys regarding when you do a review, when you set things up. Do you guys do like preparation? Like, do you have notes? Do you guys taste stuff before? Do you taste it blind? What are your processes in terms of when you're kind of getting ready to review something? What do you guys go through?
You want us to start, or
who would you like to start?
Yeah, all you guys.
Oh, perfect. All right, we'll start real quick. So kind of like we kind of go back and forth. So sometimes we're just like he kind of texts me and goes, buddy, I got this bottle.
Yeah, I got a bottle.
Yeah, let's
try it. Yeah.
But other times when we kind of sit down and kind of talk about the format and structure of everything. All right, we're going to kind of talk about the nose here. We're going to talk about the palate and finish and everything. But and we kind of discuss some of the notes beforehand a little bit, just because sometimes we haven't revisited the whiskey or the bourbon for a while, and I think that having some structure as much as you need a little bit of that, because I think if you just go into it just like whatever, I mean anything can happen. But sometimes you get that spontaneous stuff that's fun. So that's kind of how we handle it. We're kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah, we've been doing pop and port lately, but because what happens is when we do it beforehand, we start yammering on about it. We're like, hey man, we really should be recording this because this is all good stuff.
Exactly.
This is all we're already doing it. So that's why the last couple of it just pop and pours, because we're gonna do it anyway. We might as well do it. We don't like it. We can do it again. So that's kind of how.
Yeah, that's the interesting part of that, because you end up doing like a pre-review first, and then you get to the review, and then you're like, Jesus, we've already talked about all this stuff, and then now the review becomes difficult to do.
Yeah, and it's not as authentic. It's not who we are. That's kind of why we've been doing. Let's just do everything. We typically do everything one take, and let's just do it. And in that way, it's truly us. And that's kind of what we're going for. Mm-hmm. It's as honest.
Dan, what about you?
What's that?
Yeah, Dan, what about you? How do you structure your stuff?
With this only being my second video I just put out, I'm still trying to figure out how I want some things to flow. But I'm going to be doing some bottles that I already have open. Just a straight review from where they are, just like the barrel dovetail I just did. But then some of these dusty bottles I have that are still sealed, I'm going to be cracking them right there. Right on the review. So, but I'm going to kind of play around with it a little bit and see what I can do, mix things up a little bit, and instead of just doing reviews like I've been doing. So I want to, definitely improve from where I'm going. So
cool. Brent, what about you guys? What kind of structure do you guys have?
We definitely research the whiskey before we go into most of our reviews, because we do give somewhat of a history behind the whiskey, the distiller, the master distiller, a little bit of info on that.
Some of the history with these distilleries is like phenomenal, know. And then so we sat there and it's like, man, do I want to remember all of this? And some of it's really interesting, and some of it's just very boring stuff. So you got to sit there and figure out, like, what do I want to hit with this? What do I want to hit to make this kind of interesting and not seem like I'm looking for it? Right. Because you want to keep people's attention and you want to make it fun for everybody and not feel like you're setting this up.
Yeah, and as far as we do research the whiskeys before we review them. As far as the bottles being opened, I would say it depends on the bottle. Yeah, it does. Just like that Peerless review we just done, we just got that bottle that day. We wanted to try to get it out, and so we reviewed it that day. But we typically let the bottle open up a little bit before we do review the whiskey, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, that's kind of the same with me. At first, I was doing that where I just kind of would crack the thing open, do a little bit of research, and then kind of review it. And then I started really realizing that, a bottle that's open for, let's say, even a week or 10 days, even when I went back to it, I realized, well, geez, this is changing quite a bit. And I don't think that the review I did, whatever, a week or 10 days ago is maybe very representative of what the whiskey really truly is. So I always will at least open a bottle, and if I get something, even if I don't, plan on drinking it that night or whatever, I open it right away and let it start to kind of breathe a little bit, open up, and really kind of, just get some air to it, and hope that it changes or just does what it's supposed to do. So yeah, I do the same way and provide a little bit of information. Jason really kind of knocks it out of the park. I mean, he does a fantastic job with that part of it. So that's the one thing I would say, with his channel that I really appreciate is a lot of the history part of it. I think a lot of us probably appreciate the history part of it, but for me, hearing all of that stuff is important. So, kudos to you, Jason.
Thanks for the attaboy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's going to follow up the next video. I'm going to leave some shitty message, by the way. That's how that works. So
yeah, but
right.
That's actually true, Scott, because that part of my videos, like if you watch my first video, I kind of just, I did do the history, but I just kind of read it and tried to remember it. And I was saying the word and a lot, like Beavis and Butthead. I sounded a little bit like so. As I started going through and okay, how can I provide? And I was getting feedback. I started doing not only all the research, but also I started actually writing out all the history points and then reading over it over and over and over. So when I got back to do the actual video, I was able to retain most of it. So it's almost like, if you've ever done any acting or if been a school play, you're literally reading a script, trying to remember it a little bit and trying to retain all the information without so many pauses. Yep. And then I've actually trained myself to not say the word or like in a video. And if I do, I magically edit it out. So
next.
the magic of editing.
Editing, it is one, but it's true because a lot of times when we're all doing reviews, you get to that point sometimes where you're thinking sometimes of so many things and what you want to say that you actually draw like a blank at times, and you end up having to edit some of that stuff, and try to stay away from the ums and ahs and kind of the pauses and just kind of taking a swig of something because you don't know what the hell you're going to say next. and we've all been there, but now through the magic of editing, you don't see those parts of things. So
actually, I just want to say real quick, how great you guys are, the new channels, and I really, Dan is only 2 videos in. You already kind of got a good flow going.
He's a master.
Yeah, he is. He's getting to be quite good right off the bat, man. It's awesome.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, the Bourbon Buddies. You guys, I've watched you since because Neil. I mean, we've talked for a while.
Oh yeah,
you talking to me on my channel and the whole drum thing, which is awesome. So, I kind of followed you guys from the beginning, and then Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews, who I found actually, I don't feel like I found you guys out long ago, and I'm like, wow, these guys got a good amount of content out. I'm like, let's check these guys out. So you guys are doing a really great job. But before that, what are we all pouring tonight, guys? What are we drinking?
Yeah. So that was gonna be my next thing. So I thought for a lot of us, who probably get asked, quite a bit, and I know I do all the time, like, what's your favorite, or what do you suggest? I figured I would just kind of pull out a few of the, kind of tried and true, bourbons that I kind of recommend to a lot of people. And allocation can be kind of a tricky thing. So I guess, I'm sticking with what I can generally get in my area, which is probably what we'll all recommend. But like for me, like what I brought out, I've got, some of the Four Roses small batch, Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, Evan Williams white label, which I can now get in my area apparently.
There you go.
And so, those are kind of tried and true, and they're all great entry level bourbons. Not everything always has to be, super high proof all the time, but they're just good solid bourbon. So what do you guys kind of recommend when people ask you?
We recommend the Buffalo, pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah,
that you said.
most people are. I think most people that ask us aren't really into it as much. So they're all looking for something new to try to kind of get into it. So, we recommend some stuff that, the proof is a little bit lower. That's not going to kill them, like, Buffalo Trace.
Oh, yeah, Elijah Craig. I like recommending Elijah Craig a lot.
Mixers, if they can find it. Just, pretty much what Scott said, really.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
easy to find, like Bullet. That's easy to find. That's not. I mean, that's an easy drinker, especially for a new person.
Right.
I always overlook Bullet. I don't know why.
Man, I tell you what, this isn't a bourbon.
I've done the same.
Michter's American. Michter's American whiskey
Oh,
is a great. I think it would be a great beginner whiskey. I think Weller Special Reserve would be a great beginner's whiskey. It's so allocated and weird, though. You hate to mention it to anyone because it's just so hard to get. Around here, it's not bad, but in other places, people are just. And Buffalo Trace is another one. It's a great, well-rounded bourbon whiskey. It's a great proof point, and it gives you a little bit of everything. But I mean, for around here, I think Buffalo Trace will probably be the number one thing that I would recommend.
Yeah, and it's for us, it started to pop up a little bit more in this area, and I don't know if the allocation or their distribution is starting to kind of spread out a little bit more, but it does seem like a lot of people, and I guess people in the chat can mention too, whether or not Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare is another one that people sometimes have a little bit of difficulty finding, but it's something that started to pop up more in my area, a little bit more like readily available than it ever used to be. So, and they're great. They're really good bourbons for what they are. I mean, we all know that they're not going to, blow us all away, but those days that you just want a pour of something where it's not necessarily going to be, something that blows you away. They're great. They're great bourbons to try,
All right. So I have a bourbon that this one might not be very popular. I actually hate it. Well, I don't hate it. I just don't drink on it very often. But this bourbon is a ringer for getting people into bourbon. I think it has a perfect 8-8 record in my circle of people that I've gotten into bourbon. And it is Angel's Envy.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to recommend it because it is $50, and for someone trying to get into whiskey, it's a little pricey. But I'm telling you, anyone that tries this stuff is like, oh, I could drink that.
They love it.
Yeah.
They absolutely love it. Every time I have it.
It's a good gateway bourbon.
Oh yeah.
Totally. I mean, I'm telling you, it's batting 1,000, man. This is it's
Nailed it.
yeah. I don't.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's a solid, bourbon, and it's another one of those bourbons. I think that's great for, not only cocktails, but it adds a little different flavor for cocktails and stuff. So, but for just getting into it, you've got the port that's kind of maybe easing a little bit of the harshness of the bourbon, and kind of allows it to be a really nice and approachable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it actually the best person I always like to use as an example is my mother. She's I started her with Angel's Envy, and now she's drinking like Elijah Craig barrel proof. She can't even drink Angel's Envy now. Yeah, she likes all high proof stuff, but it started with Angel's Envy, and then after she started drinking it, she's like, "Oh, it's too thin, it's too sweet. There's not enough there going on." After 2 weeks before that, she was saying how much she loved it, and now she's like, throwing back, barrel proof whiskey. I'm like, what is happening to my mother?
Now, Mama Calori is like, Angel's Envy, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, she can't. She doesn't. She wants no part of it now. She's like, where's the McKenna? Where's the barrel proof?
Dan, what about you? What's your when people kind of ask you something about maybe kind of getting into bourbons? What do you lean towards a little bit? What do you tell people?
I mean, I think everybody's named the three. You got to go with the Wild Turkey 101 number one.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And you got the Elijah Craig small batch for sure. And I think last would probably be the Buffalo Trace if it's available in your area. I mean, those three are just as solid as they come, man.
Totally agree.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, tell people, try Weller, Special Reserve, that. But yeah, like you said, it's really weirdly allocated. I think Larceny is a really good bourbon to introduce someone to as well. It's kind of easy to get. It's a wheater. It's soft. It's sweet. Another one that actually I've had really good success with is Four Roses Small Batch. Yeah, that one has a unique flavor profile. I think when you compare it to others, it's just, I don't know, just a little bit. It has a little bit more depth of flavor there to it. It's not everyone's favorite, but I think for certain palates, people really like that one too.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the Knob Creek either, though. I mean,
oh yeah,
yeah, Knob Creek, yeah, Knob Creek's a good one too. Yeah,
so nutty. Oh, I think Scott.
Oh, the Scott frozen again.
He's frozen in time.
Yeah, look at him. Look, it
finally got him.
It did. So, yeah.
Real quick, we'll just kind of go over one of our recommendations. I'm going to kind of come at it from a price standpoint because a lot of people are really
That's really the first thing I ask.
Yeah,
how much you want to spend?
If they're just starting to get into bourbon, it's like they don't want to spend anything over, $25. They're like, my dad's a classic example of this. He doesn't want to spend anything over $20, so he tries to find the best bang for his buck, as he says. So for us, I mean, we kind of always recommend the Evan Williams White Label, just the bottom bond, because I mean, yeah, it's young. And you can tell, and you get a lot of corn in there, and but at the same time, I think it kind of like brings you to this like other level where you can start appreciating bourbon a little bit, and you can go, okay, I get it. It's a little bit higher proof, and it's not expensive. I mean, I got this. I got this for like $30, and it's the big boy bottle. So
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So I mean, it's typically my everyday drinker. Wild Turkey 101 also. How are you, buddy? Yeah.
Well, there for a while, I was drinking the McKenna all the time because we could get it all the time.
All the time.
And for $30-some, I mean, how can you beat it? But
good luck now.
Ever since it got some great reviews, it's just an empty shelf now. And I was literally drinking it for years, and now I'm like, damn it, that was like, the diamond in, the kind of hidden gem. I think we were paying like $32 or $34 for the bottle of bond. So it was a steal. And I actually recommend that to a lot of people because it was such a good drinker for money. Yeah, I usually kind of base it off price point. Eagle Rare is one that I recommend a lot for people who don't want to spend a lot because around here in Pennsylvania, we can use when they have like $29, $30 tops.
Yeah.
And I find it to be just kind of really well-rounded and kind of like that crowd pleaser. Everybody seems to – it doesn't do anything to scare them away.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I kind of recommend. I kind of jumped into it heavy because a friend of mine turned me on to it. She was a whiskey drinker, and she always bought better stuff. So then I just sort of thought, oh, that's how much you're supposed to spend on a bottle of bourbon,
He's privileged.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, $50, okay, yeah.
So Bourbon Buddies, what was the bourbon that did it for you guys that kind of was like, holy crap, I gotta start drinking more of this?
Believe it or not, it was the Chattanooga, 1814 or something like that. We were on vacation with a whole group of people, and a friend of mine bought it, and I just tried. I was still in the wine. I poured a little in my wine glass and was like, "Oh, what's that?" It was like blown away by it. And then I had tried others and was kind of looking for that real rich, creamy, the cherry, the vanilla, all that stuff that like kind of got me into it. So I think I don't know if that spoke to my palate or if that's because the first thing that I had was that way. So I gravitate towards the real heavy, the higher proof. So, you know, that's kind of what got me hooked. And then after that, I was really on to the Willet Reserve for a while. And then my in-laws live in Kentucky, so we got to go to Willet. And then I just thought the place was so cool, the way it's a little bit more intimate. And I got onto that. Then I was on the Jeffersons for a while, and I just kind of went through all kinds of different stuff.
You went through everything.
Yeah, I pretty much did, you know.
You went through the 9 stages of bourbon love right there.
Yeah. I seem to be gravitated, as Neil says, I have a turkey mouth. So anything comes out of turkey.
We calibrated them correctly.
Neil, what about you, buddy?
You know, honestly, my dad bought me a bottle of Eagle Rare, and you know, it was like, I was like, ooh, this is cool. And he's like, yeah, it's 10 years old. And, you know, he showed the whole bottle to me. And I'm like, all right, I'll give this a shot. So I just started pouring it neat, and I loved it. And I've had it before with Jeff. And that was just kind of like, all right, you know what? I really like bourbon. Let me just kind of see where this goes. And I actually started getting into Scotch a lot heavy in the beginning of my whole journey, but which I still drink Scotch. I love peated stuff. And, but I mean, honestly, it was just bourbon. I just kind of go back to. I don't know what it is. I just kind of. Yeah. I think Jeff's the same way. We just kind of go back to bourbon. But I mean, hey, I'm more than willing to try whatever you put in front of me, and I'm all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Oak and Smoke guys. What about you?
Yeah. What do you guys have?
Mine, the one that got me on, well, I'll say the top two that was like, wow, that's really good, was the Weller Special Reserve when I was starting out. And then I believe the Old Forester Statesman was like, okay.
Super underrated bourbon, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. And then after those two, it just kind of took off. Right. And then I was like, well, I got to try everything.
Yeah. Mine, the whiskey I drank for a while was Woodford Reserve.
I think Brent's answer is Zima. So let's move on.
Yeah, Zima.
Sorry.
Woodford Reserve is probably the first one I really sipping on a regular basis. Then it was I went to the Weller, Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace, and just kind of gravitated towards higher proof whiskeys. And once at first, whenever I was in the higher proof whiskeys, everything it takes a while to develop your palate for those. It really does. I mean, your palate does have to acclimate to those higher proof whiskeys. But once I started messing with them, like right now at this point in my whiskey journey, I prefer the higher proof stuff. It's definitely got more body to it and better feel behind them and all that stuff. But I would say Woodford though kind of journeyed off from the course right there. I'd say Woodford's probably what got me into whiskey.
I tell you, I started with Four Roses Yellow Label was the first one I had, and I was like, that's all right. I think I'm gonna try some better stuff. And then we got that bottle of Statesman, and I was like, well, that's a lot better than that Yellow Label. So I guess we got to start going up, and that's kind of just spiraled out of control. And I have 100+ bottles now.
Yeah, the house is
it's overflowing at my house. Yeah, whiskey.
I think that's probably one of the things that all of us. I think that bug bit so hard that you just can't stop sometimes the buying everything. Well, that's the big problem.
Yeah. It really
Dan, what about you?
Well, mine started probably with Jack Daniels back in the day. You know, I like Jack, and then I think what it was is I watched a review of Horst Looning. You guys know who he is?
Who?
He's like the master taster of whiskey.com. He has a review channel, Horst Looning.
Yeah, I know who Horst is.
So I watched him with, I think it was a barrel proof Jack Daniels on his cask there, and so I tried it, and he was telling me all these notes and stuff he was getting. I was like, what's this guy talking about? And but yeah, sure enough, that's really how I think it was Jack Daniel's single barrel that got me going into my little journey here, and just started to move up from there. And again, I mean, I'm with some of you guys that, you know, barrel proof is my thing. So I like the higher proof whiskey for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have gravitated towards that, but mine too. Like Brent said, mine was Woodford as well, which for a really odd thing, it kind of got me into it. And for whatever reason, I don't ever seem to want to like gravitate back towards it. I like the double oak, and I really like the double oak. That was really fantastic.
Double.
That came and went pretty quickly. So, but Woodford was the thing that kind of got me into it. But you know, I think all of us, you kind of experiment with different things whiskey wise in college. I want to preface that. Okay. I want to preface that.
Experiment.
Yeah. And, you know, you try those things and there's, you know, you have too much of something and it was like Jack or something like that. You don't ever want it again because you smell it and it brings you right back to like having, you know, 20 glasses of it and what it did to you. But Woodford for me was one of those things, but it's a really solid I mean, Brown-Forman does a fantastic job. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we're close to the 1 hour mark. I guess before we kind of jump off, we have someone celebrating a birthday today. So why don't we all maybe pour something a little special in his honor, and we'll kind of cheer.
Please do not sing, please.
No singing.
We won't sing. We won't promise.
All right, guys. All right. I appreciate that, Scotty.
Yeah, no problem.
What do you guys pouring out? What do you guys pouring before we sign off here?
All right, so I'm going with the 2016 Four Roses limited edition. So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go do something super special and go to Four Roses Yellow Label.
Now you know what you're saying.
Dirty man.
Yeah, now I know what I mean to you, Scott.
Yeah. Who am I kidding here with this?
I'm gonna go with the Four Roses 125th.
Nice. And I'd say for me, like right away, I don't know about you guys, but Four Roses for me has probably become the bourbon I gravitate towards the most. Anyway.
Yeah, it's quality.
Yeah, totally. That's what we're going actually right now. It's funny, we're all going Four Roses. What's going on here?
Solid.
So we're going single barrel strength. One of our store picks over here in New Jersey. And, yes, this is sitting at 6.9% alcohol.
What recipe do you have?
I'll show you here so you can see it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep. It's the mash bill on this is the OESQ.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's very floral. It's got all kinds of stuff.
OESQ, very floral. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's killer.
Hey, I'll show this real quick. This, I don't know if you guys can see that well. I'm trying to. That was the cotton book. We can't get it here in PA, but we were able to get it in Tennessee when we were down there on a vacation. So I don't know where you guys are at. If you guys want to try it, it is actually very good.
I'm heading down to Tennessee next week, so maybe I'll grab one.
Yeah, it's well worth it.
They're doing some cool stuff down there. So. All right,
Oak and Smoke. What do you guys got?
I just picked up a bottle of Bellmead cask strength a couple days ago, so we're cracking that up.
Nice.
Very, very nice. All right, well we're good to go. So why don't we say happy birthday to Jason? And I guess before we sign off, I'll let everybody kind of again tell a little bit about their channel where everybody can find you, and yeah, we'll go from there. So why don't we cheers to Jason? Happy birthday, buddy!
Happy birthday,
Jason.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You guys doing an awesome job. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I say the same thing, and that was the point of kind of doing this live stream, so just get everything out there for you guys and let people be exposed to your channel. Anybody who hasn't, if you guys haven't subscribed to any of their channels, go over and do so. And if you guys want to leave like a little comment or whatever in the chat, you guys can everybody can just click on the link and open it right up, and you should be able to subscribe to the channels right away. So hopefully everybody will do that before we're off tonight. So
Scott, we'd like to say thank to you and Jason, man, for just helping us out as much as you have. You guys have been amazing to us, and we just want to say thanks for everything you guys have done for us. It's awesome getting to meet you guys, getting to know you guys better, and see what it's been awesome. It's been great.
yeah, well, cheers to you guys. You guys are all doing a fantastic job. So just have fun with it. That's the main thing. Don't make it feel like a job. Just have it be fun, and it'll continue to be fun. So,
all right.
So, all right, guys. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your channels, and then we'll sign off for the night. Oak and Smoke, why don't you guys go first? You're first on my screen. So,
all right, guys. We put up videos every Wednesday and Saturday. We review Scotch, Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, bourbon, pretty much whiskey. Whiskey. We do give a little bit of history behind the whiskeys we review. As far as the bourbons we go, we have a bourbon leaderboard. That's just on the bourbons that we have reviewed, kind of letting you guys know. Because our tasting preference is different, and I think everyone's is. So we're kind of ranking these bourbons that we do review separately. It's just the top 10 of the bourbons that we reviewed at the end of the videos. You guys checked out the end of our videos, and we do post every Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah, on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. The Open Smoke Whiskey Reviews.
cool. Thanks, guys. Jason, why don't you go real quick?
Jason C from the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. You find me at on YouTube at the Mash and Drum. I put out about two reviews a week, and I also do my live streams on Wednesdays. Please join in. We always have a lot of fun on the live streams. You can find me also on Instagram at the Mash and Drum, and also on Twitter at Mash and D. So thanks a lot, Scotty, for having me on.
Yep, thanks, Jason. Bourbon Buddies, go ahead.
Sure. So, we put out stuff kind of a little sporadic right now. We're looking to kind of get it synced down a little bit, but so we're putting out right now. We do some of comparing, like, just regular stuff to, the barrel proof, and just kind of seeing the differences. So we're going to be putting a lot of that out, and we're also going to kind of look at maybe grabbing some Scotch drinkers to the bourbon world.
Try to make some converts out of them.
Yeah, so we're going to be kind of putting some videos out about that. So look forward to that, and kind of going from there.
Yeah, we want everybody to feel like we're just hanging out, what it would be like to hang out and drink whiskey, and kind of like, to us, that's what it's about.
Which we do a lot.
Yeah,
we do a lot of that.
We just kind of like hanging out with your buddies and just having a good time and just kind of chilling out, and that's kind of what we're going for with our channel.
Mm-hmm.
Give you some, obviously tasting notes and all that stuff, but just to keep it a little bit more who we are,
Yep.
We're cancer signs too, so we just had birthdays, so we like
Happy
to
birthday, guys.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Good deal, boys. Cheers to that. Yeah.
Cheers. Dano, go ahead, bud.
So I'm looking to put out a review. Again, 3 to 4 every month, ranging anywhere between from open bottles, seal bottles, to one dusty bottle a month. Some of them are open, some are unopened. You can find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews, and you can also find me on YouTube at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And most importantly, stay dusty.
Love it.
Oh,
Look at Captain Branding. Woo!
I didn't see any of this this funny shit now. Like Dan's pulling all his funny moves out and stuff. So yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate everybody for joining tonight. But so my channel, My Bourbon Journey. now that summer's here, I'm probably going to try to put out video maybe on Saturdays. That seems to probably work the best. Live streams sometimes on Tuesday nights. Yeah, so hopefully everybody will follow. And yeah, I guess I just want to say thanks for all you guys for joining tonight. Had a good time. And like I say, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers, guys. Jason, happy birthday.
Thanks for having us. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.